Well, I truly believe that on this specific topic, core values, I'll show you in a minute here, but they really help you align with not only an organization, but people that are going to be working with you. So let's start by defining what core values are. Core values are fundamental beliefs. These are the things that you believe no matter what. Maybe you were taught them as a kid, maybe you have grown into them, maybe these are things that someone else has taught you over the years, but these are things that are core to what you are. They're also guiding principles. These are things that, when you make decisions, you're always thinking about in the back of your head. The next one is they help you create an unwavering guide. These are things that are going to basically guide you through not only decisions that we make here day to day, but also on planning and deciding what kind of direction you want in your life in general. The next one is that core values actually help people create yes and no's and rights and wrongs. If there were no laws, if there were no, 10 commandments, whatever, what would you be doing with your day? Like, would you just go after everything, or do you have something deep inside you that says this is the right and the wrong answer? So let's talk about how you can do this. Most people will say, hey, we have a lot of these things in common. I did a lot of research online, and there's about 500 core values that people claim to have. And I can tell you just personally, I will share with you mine here in a few minutes. But these are critical into the real estate business. You might be like, well, why are we spending so much time on the big why and goals? And now specifically, why are we spending time on core values? Because they're true, they're basic, they're core to you, they're natural. I mean, these are when no one else is looking, what are you actually doing? So my big question I get asked is, well, why should I set core values? Aren't they just like a part of who I am already? So that's a great question. So my question to you is, when you're making a decision, short term, long term, you name it, what do you have to do to make that decision happen? Usually you kind of weigh pros and cons. You might be old school like me. Sometimes you take a piece of paper and you put, here's all the positives, here's all the negatives. That's up to you. That's one way to make a decision. But if you've got some true basic things that are part of who you are, and you've written them down and you say, yes, this is what I stand for, I think those decisions come along a lot easier. If you've set very clear core values, people are either going to come in line with you and they're going to say, wow, I believe what you believe, or they're going to go a different direction. So how do you set core values? Well, I believe that there's a million ways to do this. You can go on Google and you can say, what are core values? And it'll put together a list of like 500 core values. You can just go through and kind of randomly start picking those. Or what you can do, I found this little game that I like. It's called Think to Perform, and it's a bunch of index cards. And you lay them out on a table, and your first game is you want to basically get it down to like a top 20. Because really, you agree with most of these, like integrity and honesty and challenges and excitement and all these things. So you're going to agree to most of them, but you're going to pick your favorites. And then you keep narrowing those down. And I'm going to give you my example here in just a minute. So that's one way to set core values. Another one is that you could basically read some books about it. There's a million books about core values and what's important to an organization and you personally. So I recommend trying that. So I'm going to give you an example of mine. So I personally chose out of this core values deck. My business coach, Steve, he gave me this deck of cards and he said, I want you to pick your favorite 5. To be honest with you, I could not get it down to 5. Out of 100 cards, I got it down to 6. And here are the 6 that I chose and why. So first one is religion, a specific belief system or worship. So for me, it's God, family, business are primarily my main things here that I work toward in my company. And that's the vision that our company has put out there, and I agree with that. So personally for me, I chose it because I know that if I put God first in my own personal life and belief system, everything else falls in line. The next one is health. It says placing importance on physical and emotional well-being. So I can't be a service to other people if I can't keep my emotional and physical state healthy. And I believe that in the real estate business, you might be thinking, why are we talking so much about all this other stuff and not how do I list homes and sell homes and buy homes and whatever. But if you can't get these basic tenements right, you should never be selling real estate. I mean, you really need to know, I mean, you don't have to agree with mine, but I'm explaining to you what mine are so you understand how I've been able to help build what I've built. It's been with a lot of help, God's help and other people in my life, and my mom giving me encouragement, my wife giving me encouragement. It's a lot of people around me. But if I haven't physically been healthy enough to do the business, serve my clients, and then enjoy the rewards that come with being a successful entrepreneur, then what's the point? The next one here is relationships. So, God first, and then my personal body, mind, and body, and then relationships with others. I, put my wife and my relationship first. I've got 5 kids, and we talk about this at home. It's like my wife is my number one priority, and my kids are next. Someday those kids are going to be grown up, and I want to make sure I have that time together with my wife. I get to travel with her. I get to enjoy going on weekly date nights with her. We go out on these quarterly type of vacations, and we get to do business travel together. So to me, that's the ultimate thing. The next one is, and then I also would include relationships with friends and business partners in there as well. You got to maintain strong, loving relationships. Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. So, if you are always thinking about yourself first, then you're not putting those other relationships first, then unfortunately, you may not get very far in life. The next one is freedom. This is a big one for me. So freedom in my country, freedom in the worship of my God, freedom in my relationships, freedom in what I get to choose to do every day. I mean, I get to be in the real estate business. It's my favorite thing. I get so excited about it. I enjoy it. So I'm basically saying to you, find something that you find freedom in. If you feel like you're trapped in either some kind of system or company, then find a way to get out of it long term, because you're just never going to be happy. In addition, I also consider freedom the way that I'm building residual income in my businesses. Someday, very soon I hope, I'll be able to wake up and say, today I choose to go to Southern California and teach a class. Today I choose to do this or this. I'm not there 100% yet. I still have a lot of financial obligations that I'm paying down and paying off. Over the long term though, that freedom is going to be really important for me for happiness and well-being. And it is a core value of mine, and I like to help other people, which is one of the reasons why we're having this conversation right now. I'm trying to help you have freedom in your future. The next one is integrity. I gave away the next one. Integrity first. That's firm adherence to an oral code and set of values and walking the talk. I could put all this stuff in writing, I could have all these things, and I could pray about all these things, but if I don't actually walk the talk in these items and areas, then people are going to see me as a fraud, and I'll never be successful. The last one is excitement. Yay, spoiler alert. Those are things that engage attention or emotion in a lively or stimulating way. If you're not excited about what you're doing, if you're not excited about the relationships you're in, if you're not excited about where you live, I would recommend making a big change. I mean, I think this life's way too short to go through life and not be excited about what you're doing. So I'm not saying go leave your spouse or kids or whatever. Find things that you can do with your family, with your wife, with your husband, with whoever you're with, and say, let's make this more of an exciting life. Find the things you have been putting off for a long time, go out and do them. And be really purposeful about work. When you're at work, just kill it, make it happen, do those priorities. And we're gonna go over time blocking here in a couple episodes, but you've got to do those things at a really high level. And then when you're home, be focused to be that guy at a really high level or that girl at a really high level. So here's some next steps for you to think about. Number one, I like this card system. It's called Think to Perform. I'll put that in the show notes as well, or find a similar system to choose your core values. The next one is go through the show notes, and you can even look at mine and kind of cross-reference those and say, if Derek's doing these, what are other leaders doing, and find out what other people are doing. I definitely recommend making yours unique to yourself. Then the third one is ask yourself, when you actually find yours, show them to someone that you trust, your wife, your spouse, someone, and say, do you agree with these core values that I've chosen? And see what they think. And then ask yourself a really hard question. Yes, these are my core values. Am I truly living these out every day? Or am I living someone else's core values? And the last one, and maybe the most important, are you yourself following a mentor or leader that has similar core values than you do? If the answer is yes, then great, you're on a great path. If the answer is no, my recommendation is find another mentor or leader or coach that has the similar core values that you want to aspire to be. And then, follow them on Twitter, follow them on Facebook, watch their live videos, read their books, go to their seminars. Really try to find out what are they doing and how are they living those core values out.